Двери, двери, премудростью вон мемон.
Good evening, welcome once more to Canadian Orthodox Broadcasting.ca, and looking over some items in the newspaper again today. Usually I follow through at a newspaper with something that I've gotten watching online. This particular item that we want to deal with tonight, or really two items, are things that I came across first of all in foreign journals online, and BBC had quite a production about the dangers of online dating, but I noticed that it also had occurred in a German newspaper and a French newspaper. So this is not just a North American problem. I'm looking now at an article from, again, the Toronto Globe and Mail, our national newspaper, because it happened to have had an article about the same subject, the dangers of online dating, modern style dating. And since it's occurred in a number of other countries in news media, I think it's worth looking at. And I think it's worth paying more attention to our children, especially young girls, who are sometimes a bit too romantic and follow after somebody who sounds somewhat romantic. But it's not just young girls or boys who get into trouble with online dating. The bigger problem, and more frequent problem, is with adults who will date online or go through a dating service to meet somebody through even a licensed registered dating service that might even screen the people who are involved in it fairly thoroughly, but they can never do it quite completely. Now, online dating is strictly blind dating. Somebody can represent themselves as practically anything, or having practically any appearance, a body like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Farrah Fawcett Major or something, and lure somebody into a date. And we've had a number, but it usually happens with women, of women who have been killed, sometimes tortured to death, and sometimes just killed. A few men have been lured by women and been killed also. Apparently that's happened in Germany now 2 or 3 times. But anytime any of you go online with Facebook or with any of these other social networking programs, you're opening yourself wide open, and you should be perfectly aware that everything you're saying online is going to be picked up by someone who just stalks various websites and sometimes has very, very evil intentions in mind. Luring children is something that is very popular with pedophiles, and many pedophiles are also homicidal. We've had 3 or 4 girls killed here in Canada already this year by being lured by a person who present themselves as, say, 16 or 17, they turned out to be in their 30s, and a couple of them have been caught, sometimes because they were seen meeting this person on some kind of surveillance camera that some supermarket or library or something had. But it was too late for the child. Of course, boys are also sometimes lured. Preteen girls or girls in their very early teens, though, are the prime targets for this. But adults are certainly not immune from it. And very often a person will agree to meet a blind date in a non-public place, or go to a non-public place with them after having, say, a meal with them or dancing with them or something. And I just wanted to invite the attention, particularly of parents, to keep very close surveillance on the social networking that their children are doing, because it can be catastrophic. Those of you who are older sometimes you're aiding and abetting identity theft. People will boast on their Facebook where they're going for their holidays and how long they're going, so thieves who trawl these sites can get a good idea of what homes are safe to break into and when. So opening ourselves up that much in public is asking for a great deal of trouble, grief, and sorrow. Not keeping tabs on the internet surfing of our teenagers and pre-teenagers can also lead to real catastrophe. Those of you who are older, in your 20s, 30s, 40s, who want to go the online dating route, don't think it's totally safe. If it's through a dating service, it's a little safer, but if it's on a social network site or on a dating service that's not licensed, registered, and having a screening process for the people involved in it, there's a great deal of danger because there are a lot of psychopaths who trawl these sites. Thieves looking for people who have boasted about going on their holidays and where they're going to be. People who are interested in getting as much information as possible, leading up to stealing somebody's identity and using it. Or just homicidal people who are looking for victims. Or fraudulent people who are looking for someone to fleece or rob. Women who are a little bit older are very susceptible to an attractive man a little bit younger than them becoming very close and then fleecing them, and once they've used up their money they vanish. Of course, beautiful women do this frequently too, with men who are slightly older. And so there are great dangers in this. And I don't think one can overemphasize the need for caution. So I really wanted just to invite your attention to this matter and ask you, parents, to please, even if it's a matter of thinking you're invading the privacy of your children, sit down and talk to them and tell them you don't want to sneak around and see what they're doing, but tell them that you need to keep tabs on it and explain why. And older people, don't let your passions carry you away so that you get or your boastfulness or pride in what you're doing, how much money you make, or any of these other things that make you want to reveal your personal details and personal information in social networking sites. Don't do it. It's dangerous. And I would like for everyone, think seriously about that, because you might really open yourselves up for an absolute catastrophe, or your children getting kidnapped, murdered. All kinds of things can happen. So please be cautious about these things and cover them. And thank you again for joining us this evening, and God bless you all.